This is a CBS2 News update. I'm Mary Calvi. A call to 911 leads to a fatal police-involved shooting in Queens. Police say the woman who made the call attacked the officers who responded. CBS2's Janelle Burrell has more from Maspeth.
The tense scene playing out on 69th Street in Maspeth, Queens. Heavily armed members of the NYPD's Emergency Services Unit making their way into the two-family brick home. It's where sources say a woman identified as 54-year-old Susan Muller called 911 just before 5:30 Monday evening, reporting a female intruder in the second floor armed with a razor or a knife.
Uniformed members responded to a 911 call of a burglary in progress.
When police arrived, they say Muller herself met the officers outside and followed them upstairs into the apartment. At that point, investigators say Muller turned on the officers.
The 54-year-old woman came at the officers with a knife and lunged at them. One of the officers gave direction to put the knife down. We know this because there was body camera video. Subsequently, one officer discharges his service weapon 3 times, striking the female in the torso.
Investigators recovered this knife at the scene. They say it's not the first time police have been called to the home. Neighbors say they often heard a lot of commotion inside.
They yelled a lot. I heard them yell pretty frequently. They did keep them to themselves. They just didn't keep the noise to themselves.
Why the woman called and the reason behind her alleged behavior, now part of the ongoing investigation.
What you saw here tonight is how quickly things can develop, as you said, and how quickly our officers transition from, unfortunately, having at times to use deadly physical force to then rendering aid and attempting to save a life.
A deli worker in the Bronx fought back when an armed man tried to rob his store yesterday morning. Take a look at this video. Police say a man acting as a customer came into the deli on East 187th. He flashed a gun and started demanding money. The employee wrestled the gun away from the attacker, who took off running. The employee had only minor injuries. The man accused of setting a massive fire in a parking garage at Brooklyn's Kings Plaza Mall is expected in federal court today. 23-year-old Avon Stevens was arrested yesterday and is facing arson charges in the case. Police aren't saying anything about a motive, but last night Stevens left the 63rd precinct in handcuffs and gave this quick apology.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
The black smoke from more than 100 burning cars forced them all to be evacuated and left nearly 24 people hurt, mostly firefighters. It took hundreds of firefighters several hours to contain the inferno. The cost of the damage is estimated to be in the millions, and Kings Plaza is closed again this morning because of the damage. Cleanup will continue today in parts of Summit, New Jersey, after a microburst, a sudden downdraft from a thunderstorm, knocked down trees and power lines. Power is expected to be restored by later today, but one school, Franklin Elementary, will be closed today due to those power problems. More of us are seeing rain today. Let's get to John Elliott with your forecast.
Hey, thank you, Mary. Hi, everybody. But I tell you what, it's interesting. You look. So we're here on 56th, between 56th and 57th. I have one big window. You look up. You see some pretty blue. So downtown, same deal. You can see, some breaks in the clouds, but around the area, Mary's right, more rain for more of us through midday, mostly cloudy and 77 in the park. These numbers haven't moved much, but heat's breaking through, so you have some energy in the atmosphere, and I don't need to tell you this, it's humid. Dew points are in the 70s. National Weather Service has extended the flash flood watch to include the city, much more of New Jersey. Heavy rain right now through Dutchess down into Orange County. That line holds together, pushes into Putnam. Look at this. These things erupt quickly. The atmosphere is just ready for showers and storms. That's why it's a flash flood watch. You can get that rapid rise, and you'll see those localized flooding. This line comes through this afternoon. We wrap it up pretty early tonight, and then we see some nicer days Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Just watch out. It's going to be kind of a rock'em sock'em through midday. Mary?
John Elliott, thank you. Today, New Jersey lawmakers are discussing new proposed legislation for school bus safety. This follows a continued push for safety following a summer of tragedies, including the May crash on Route 80, where a student and teacher died when their bus collided with a dump truck. Today, lawmakers spoke about legislation named after Miranda Vargas, the student who died in that crash. Congressman Josh Gottheimer said the bill would strengthen background checks for school bus drivers to ensure students have qualified drivers. Gottheimer said they hope to vote on the legislation in the fall. AAA says some seniors are outliving their ability to drive safely and urging families to talk to older members about when it's time to give up the keys. A study from the AAA Foundation found that 83% of drivers reported never talking with a doctor or family member about their safe driving ability.
By having these conversations early, you're allowing that older driver to actually play a role in the planning process, so there isn't an element of surprise when it actually comes time to give up the keys.
The group also found many families don't bring up the touchy subject until after an elderly driver already has difficulty behind the wheel or has been in a crash. In New Jersey, most senior drivers only have to take a vision test to renew their license. In New York, senior drivers can renew their license if they've passed a written test within the last 2 years. There is a major boom in the number of colleges across the country letting students study cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and the technology that makes them possible. CBS2's Clark Foraker is at NYU, the first university in the nation to let students major in the new financial technology.
Inside NYU's business school, the Bitcoin wave has taken hold. Professors had to move their class about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology they're developed with to a bigger room.
We hope to establish a groundwork so that the students can understand what's really happening under the hood, so that they can understand both the legal and the business implications, and to prepare them to go out and tackle this new market.
The new market involves digital currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and technology called blockchain, which is used to show the record of every cryptocurrency transaction. Mustafa Khan's one of the more than 100 students from a variety of majors at NYU enrolled in the class this fall.
In the environment we live in today, it's become especially relevant to get a hold of how new technologies work and how they interact with the legal system.
NYU's business school was the first to offer undergraduate courses in cryptocurrency and blockchain. Now other universities have taken notice, and there's growing competition for students who want to study the technology.
This is a grassroots movement. These are students saying, hey, university, I want to take a class on this.
Adam White works for cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, which released a study saying almost half of the world's top universities offer at least one course on the subject, and 1 in 4 students want to take the classes.
I think they see the development, the birth of a new industry. In many ways, we look at things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and blockchain as the Internet 3.0.
Across the country, Stanford and Cornell offer the most classes, many of Cornell's happening at their Roosevelt Island campus. Students studying everything from computer science to law are enrolling in the courses, convinced today's best jobs demand some knowledge of the decentralized money system.
The big established companies will definitely be partners in this whole equation, while the startups in fintech will likely, invent the new cool stuff.
Even alumni are coming back to class curious about digital currency, which as an investment can be risky because of the volatile price changes. There also have been warnings from regulators about potentially unlawful online platforms.
There's a few people here who graduated some years ago but have come back to sit in on this just because of the novelty and the edginess of the topic.
NYU has doubled its offerings this year, the boom, they say, a sign of the Financial Times. At NYU, Clark Foraker, CBS 2 News.
An alarming study finds millions of teenagers are vaping marijuana. A school-based survey shows nearly 1 in 11 students in the U.S. has used marijuana in electronic cigarettes. That's about 9% of middle and high school students combined. Students who said they lived with a tobacco user were more likely than others to report vaping marijuana. The study was published in the journal JAMA Pediatrics. An update on a story we told you about a few weeks ago. A Newark high school principal realized that sometimes students weren't coming to school because they were bullied for not having clean clothes. So Westside High principal Akbar Cook installed washers and dryers in an old locker room and started an after-school study and wash program. Since then, donations of laundry supplies have been pouring in from all over the world.
I wanted to remove that barrier, so I said, what better way for me to install washers and dryers here and just take that off their plate. They don't have to worry about that. They just got to come and be educated.
Students are helping to write thank you notes to each person who donated all of these products. A big moment at last night's Emmy Awards. It wasn't an award at all, but a ring. When director Glenn Weiss went to accept his award, he told his children he loved them, talked about his mom, and then he addressed the lady in his life.
You wonder why I don't like to call you my girlfriend? Because I want to call you my wife.
The very surprised girlfriend got up on stage for the formal proposal, to which she said yes. The director then thanking the Academy before they left. him with a statue and her with a ring. And that's your CBS 2 News update. I'm Mary Calvi.